What's going on, everybody? Happy Memorial Day weekend. This is your host, Colin Thompson for Not For Long Media. I'm with Justin Ayers. Justin Ayers, how we doing?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you again.
It's great to be back. Episode 15. A good friend of the program, Ryan Kelly, Director of Football of Operations for the American Athletic Conference. So, again, a different type guest that we're bringing that I'm excited to bring to you guys. Again, what I pride myself on, or what I want to continue to do with this podcast, is bring people on that are different than your cookie cutter sports podcast or whatever we may be. We're going to have all different types of guests on that are in all different types of things. So we're really excited to have Ryan Kelly on again, Director of Football Operations for the American Athletic Conference, the AAC, a conference that I played in college. Ryan played Division III football. He'll talk about that a little bit. And then he talks about transitioning into the football, business side, the coaching, the operation side. And now he does operations for the conference that I played in for 3 years. He started at Coastal Carolina, worked his way to Temple and then to Baylor and then back to the conference. So really cool, interesting stories about our time together at Temple. So the Temple fans will like that. He'll tell some stories about what's going on in the American Athletic Conference. He had a run-in with the vice president and got to do a motorcade with them, which was really cool. So he's got some really fun stories about operations, and I think it peels back some really good, strong layers of the other side of football, because people just see, maybe the game, they see the result. Maybe they'll see a little bit of a spring game or spring pack practice if they're diehards, but they don't really see truly what goes on, the grease, the oil, and that's the operation department that moves the team from point A to point B, that sets up the meals, that sets up the travel, that does everything, truly does everything. So I'm looking forward to Ryan Kelly for coming on. Thanks for coming on, man. But before we get into anything, because we have a lot of good stuff today, I want to talk about our wonderful sponsors here at Not For Long Media. First, the original Fudge Kitchen. They've been celebrating 50 years of business at the Jersey Shore. It's a staple down there and all across the country, because you can ship their fudge across the country, birthdays, holidays, or really just because you're a good friend. There's no better thing than giving someone a box of fudge and they don't know what it is, and all of a sudden they open it up and it's a sweet treat that they can share with everyone. The original Fudge Kitchen, check them out, fudgekitchens.com, celebrating 50 years of business. Congrats to you guys. Cape May Brewing Company, Memorial Day weekend passed, and what they're doing now is they're doing 10 beers, a whole series where you can sample things of the Jersey Shore, of their 10-year history. And it's a 10 beer series. Like I said, check them out online, capemaybrewingcompany.com. Awesome beer. I love their IPA, even though I'm not the biggest IPA fan. I love their IPA. It's fantastic. I love the Boat Ramp Champ. They have a bog. They have a great beer. They have literally everything for every flavor profile. I love their stout as well. So Cape May Brewing Company, conveniently located at the Cape May Wildwood Airport, right off the Parkway, Route 9. And again, you can buy it anywhere in Eastern Pennsylvania, Delaware, or New Jersey. They are killing it. Cape May Brewing Company. Check them out. And then Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should. They provide a customized approach to managing all levels of wealth, almost 100 years of experience amongst their team in financial planning. And they're people that I've been extremely blessed to be able to work with, starting at a younger age. And now that I'm getting older and able to bounce stock ideas off them and talk about 401k planning and talk about buying a house and managing a budget, live life on your terms. Wealth Advisory Services has an experience you can trust. WealthAdvisoryServices.com. Thank you to our sponsors. We appreciate your support. I am struggling with words today. And we're going to send it over to Justin in this Just In segment.
It's all right, man. I'm here for you. I'm going to take a little bit of the heat off for you. 3 topics for this Just In this week. First up, if you've been following the NBA playoffs, you've noticed that there has been a surge in the number of fan-related incidents at these NBA playoff games lately. So there's been 4, I think in the last couple weeks, a 76ers fan showered Russell Westbrook with popcorn as he was coming off with an ankle injury. A New York Knicks fan spat all over Atlanta Hawks star Trae Young. A Boston Celtics fan threw a full water bottle at Kyrie Irving as they were walking back to the tunnel at the end of the game. And last night, Monday night, a fan ran onto the court at the 76ers Wizards playoff game in DC. It was just like, it was the security guard on that one. If you ever want to go back and look at this, there's a great clip that got tweeted out. The security guard did a great form tackle, grabbed him by the legs. I'm sure that all your NFL fans, all your NFL friends would be proud of that security guard's tackling there. But what do you think is behind all of these, like, these rash of incidences? Do you think it's just the simple fact that this is the first time that people are coming out of their homes, we're all back in the arenas together? Do you think that's what's causing it? Because there seems like there's so many of them.
It just shows you how desperate people are for attention. First off, let's handle all the incidents separately. Okay, the one we didn't even mention was the popcorn on Russell Westbrook's head at the end of the Sixers game, right? So he gets escorted out because he got hurt, and then a Philly fan is going to dump popcorn on his head. You're an ass if you're going to put anything on anybody, right? Let alone it's popcorn, beer, water. What makes you think that? I just don't understand it. It's not the world I live in of fanhood, but I know there's great. The 99.9, almost 100% of fans are awesome people, but that's another human being that has a family, that has children, and their son is watching the game or daughter's watching the game. And why is someone dumping popcorn on daddy's head? Listen, I get it. You paid for those seats. That gives you absolutely zero right to disrespect a human being and dump one on somebody's head. You know how much Russell Westbrook would probably love to stand outside that person's work, whether they're an accountant, they work for a bank, they're a landscaper, they're a bartender, they're whatever, and just dump some popcorn on their head, especially when they're injured. He's injured walking off the floor. This isn't like someone who's like flipping off the crowd saying, I'll smell you later. So that's ridiculous. The spitting incident, they should be banned for life. You should never step foot in any arena, period. You're going to spit on another human being. They're not even getting an altercation. You're just spitting on a player on the floor. You're scum. And then you're going to run on the floor during a game. Hey, I'll be the first person to tell you that it adds some quality entertainment if no one gets hurt. Okay. Don't put your hands on anybody. You're going to streak and run across the field. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not saying it's ideal, but we've been lying to you as a player that doesn't sit there as a fan. It says, let me see the highlight. Let me see the highlight of the person running on the field, the tackle by the security guards. You all see it at baseball games, famously, people just running across the field, making guards miss. Listen, I don't think it's good. I think you're still desperate for attention, but it's a little bit, they're completely separate things. Even though we're talking about all the incidents for sure. So what do we miss? We talked about Russ Westbrook's popcorn. We talked about the spit. We talked about the latest person running onto the floor in the Sixers game.
The Kyrie Irving water bottle one was that was a heavy one because like they're talking about it after the game. Some of the post game clips from KD and Kyrie talking about it. They're bringing up things such as race, like some very heavy stuff related to these incidents. And it's not just as simple as, hey, it'd be funny if I just throw a water bottle out there. Like there's a lot of heavy stuff behind there. So that one in particular, I think, is the one that it's probably, well, that and the spitting. The spitting is pretty terrible.
Horrible. Yeah, the water bottle thing, that's a weapon. So I think that was the kid in Boston. So he should be charged. What are you doing? You're just embarrassing yourself. I heard they're trying to blame COVID, and the race thing is real. I mean, people, I hate to say this because my podcast, and it's not the majority, but get your shit together. There's no need to disrespect anybody. Right. And it's a shame we're even talking about this and bringing it to light. But it's so disrespectful. Last year, we're at multiple games, right? Home games, away games, and it's silent. There's not a lot of people in the crowd. Obviously, it's during the national anthem. Some players have chosen to kneel, put a fist up, whatever it may be. The amount of racist terms I heard, and you're about to go play a football game that fans paid money to go see. It's so disturbing, and we weren't even planning to go down this alley. But it is so sickening and disturbing that in this world we live in today, that this still goes on. I follow the NHL a lot. It's still happening in the NHL to players. Gay Pride Month this month, and there's just still videos of people just being asses. So again, I'll say it again because I hate cursing and I'll never do it on air. But get your shit together and love and be kind, because there's a lot of great people in the world, and they deserve their peace and their respect whether you're a pro athlete, whether you're somebody walking down the street. Again, we didn't plan on going down this road, but it's a shame. It's a shame that so many negative things in this world happen to such good people, especially athletes that are just trying to go out and do their job and provide for their families, friends, whatever that may be. So yeah, get your crap together, folks. And, that's, again, it's the 0.001%, but let's, try to do our part and moving the meter in the sense that, hey, we're going to, be a beacon of light and try to influence change and call people out for doing what they're doing, because right, if everyone just lets it go under the rug, it'll never be changed. So yeah, we'll keep it moving, but it's a shame what's happening. And it's been such a great playoffs in the NHL, the NBA. But for people to put blemishes on like that's really, really, truly a shame.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very well said. We have to clean it up. Next up in this, Justin, the second-ranked female tennis player, Naomi Osaka, has withdrawn from the French Open, citing concerns with her mental health. I didn't know this. She was actually the highest paid female athlete in the world. She's been battling depression and anxiety since 2018. And it's like the first time she's come forward with this. In an Instagram post on Monday, she had this whole big thing. Go out and look at it. She said she's very introverted. She does not like talking to the press. And she said, quote, anybody has seen me at tournaments will notice that I'm often wearing headphones as that helps me dull my social anxiety. This is a big deal. 35% of athletes have either suffered from mental health, such as stress, eating disorders, burnout, depression, anxiety. How important do you think it is for athletes like Naomi Osaka to be more open about this and just get out in front of it and, make these kind of things public?
Well, it's great that she's open with it. And obviously it's become a big enough thing that that she feels comfortable making it public or wants to make it public. And credit to her for working through that, because everybody has them and to some degree. But let's remember this, like, it's one thing for me as a 27-year-old, young man to handle stress and anxiety. She started becoming a pro at 14 years old. I believe it was 14, 15. She's getting compared to Serena Williams and, the Williams sisters and the all-time greats in the game of tennis. And she's beating people at that age. So she can't go to school anymore. She can't go to the grocery store. She can't go with her friends out to the movies. There's a certain level of training time that's needed. There's a certain level of expectation probably from sponsors. She has massive sponsors. Obviously, you just said the number that you didn't say the number she's making, but you said she's how highly ranked she is. So this is someone at 14 to 18 years old is handling things way different than what anybody is handling from that age. And that, the international sport, maybe golf's another sport that would be like that, a true solo sport where you have massive brands, football, where I'm in high school football. I'm playing 10 games a year and then I'm done for the next 8 months, 9 months. Maybe do some interviews, whatever. Even if you're a top recruit, you go play in an Under Armour All-American game or whatever it may be, but you're still at home. No one knows who you are. People still don't know who you are, but she is an international figure. So credit to her for seeing help. Credit to her for taking this on how she wants to. Obviously, she wants to make it public. There's a lot of people that are extremely private about it, that battle it, that you would never know. And just a sneak peek into our organization, we have help in all those avenues, and really across the NFL, everybody does. And all pro sports, it seems at this point, there's psychiatrists on staff to help you with mental strength and conditioning, not just physical strength and conditioning, working on your mind, working on battling anxiety, depression, or building your mental picture of how you can perform, a visionary, visualization techniques, which has been really cool for me, or help me sleep better. I've done some stuff with that. So yeah, there's a big investment into it. I'm looking forward to the next 10 years for the athletes behind us, because their mental makeup, it's going to be way different than ours. Yeah, sure. I'm not saying toughness, but I'm saying more of, you're going to have help at a young age to manage some of these things that come into your life that you may not know. So she's going to help a ton of young professionals because of this, not just athletes. And credit to her toughness. And we wish her nothing but the best here.
I love it. All right, real quick. Last up in this, Justin, the Toronto Maple Leafs, a little hockey talk here at the end there. They got bounced last night, Monday night, in the first round of the NHL playoffs by the Montreal Canadiens. in 7 games. They are up 3-1. So let's start the 3-1 jokes again. This is their 5th consecutive year that they've been bounced to the opening round of the playoffs. I think it's like their 3rd in a game 7. One year there's like a game 5. The Toronto Maple Leafs, good God. What, as a hockey fan yourself, are they just like, are they the joke of the NHL now with all of these first round bounces?
I don't know if they're the joke of the NHL because they were so dominant in the regular season. And yes, there's a lot of first round bounces, but they're an organization that is on the rise 110%. They're not going to be going anywhere next year. They're only going to get better. Yes, it is consistent in the first round bounce. Yes, it is consistent that they went all in this year and last year, I believe, and they couldn't get through. So shout out to the Canadians. Carey Price, everyone's saying, is it over? He played fantastic for the Canadians. They have a lot of depth. They're a playoff team. Shout out to Rear Admiral of Spittin' Chicklets and Barstool Sports. He may have been the only person in the whole entire media world that picked the Canadians. I was listening to them on Spittin' Chicklets, one of my favorite podcasts, and he was saying, I almost took him as a joke, but I just thought the Canadians are really good in the playoffs, and Montreal is not proven yet. So, yeah, what are your thoughts?
I don't know a ton about them. I know that they have Tavares, their captain, got hurt in game 1. I don't think he played after that. I think having him probably would have helped in games 5 and 6 when they lost by 1 goal each. He could have used a little more, little instant offense there with John Tavares. But yeah, it's been 19,754 days since the Leafs won the Stanley Cup. And they're just 33 days away from setting the longest playoff drought record in the history of hockey. So
John Tavares is a huge blow. It's a great point. He was formerly of the Islanders. Everyone remembers he went home to Toronto to play for his hometown team. He's an extremely complete player, one of the top players in the NHL. And he got hit and then fell, and then someone skated into him by accident. It was a bang type play, and he got a concussion, or I believe he got a concussion. I don't want to say it, but he went to the hospital. I know he was out for a little bit. He started skating again and feeling better, but I don't know the details there. But he's a good guy. He's their captain. Joe Thornton goes there to win a Stanley Cup, had a nice year for him. 3rd, 4th line guy, played up a little higher in the playoffs, up in the 1st and 2nd line with Matthews and Marner and those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because are they going to blow the team up? They can't. They have they're really high on the payroll scale. So yeah, it's not a good place to be in. The Flyers were in that same boat for a while. They're still in it. First round out. Where do you stand? You're going to get the 15th, 16th overall pick. And now all of a sudden you're drafted middle of the pit, you're in cap hell and your draft pick's not high. So we'll see what happens.
All right. That's all I got for you.
Thank you, Justin. And again, shout out to Wealth Advisory Services. If you don't know them, you should check them out. wealthadvisoryservices.com. 50 years, the original Fudge Kitchen, celebrating 50 years of business. That's a long time. Like I said, Justin, Not For Long Media will be around for 50 years. We're going to make it. Cape May Brewing Company, anywhere Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. It's one of my favorite beers, if not my favorite beer when it comes to their selection. They have so much. So I love what they're doing there. Check them out. And they got great apparel too. Love their t-shirts and hats. So that's going to do it for us, guys. Episode 15. We are chugging along. We're going to send it over to Ryan Kelly, Director of Football Operations in the American Athletic Conference. Enjoy.